to the official tutorial for Irish Wave baby blanket. We're going to be working on the scarf pattern information. The only reason being is because it's just smaller and we can get through more information. The only difference between the scarf and the blanket is that the blanket is obviously bigger. All right, so with that, I am using a size F 3.75 millimeter hook. I am using a DK weight yarn. I decided to go with that just because I wanted my scarf to be fairly thin. The original pattern calls for a light number 3 yarn, which is basically a DK weight, or I've seen a lot of people use worsted weight and stuff like that too. So really you can do whatever size yarn makes you happy. I'm, for the purposes of this, going to use the smaller yarn and a smaller hook than what is actually called for in the pattern itself. So I've taken the liberty of going ahead and chaining my 31, and I did my half double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook and all the way over. When you count this out, make sure that you are including the turning chain here, because that is going to be counted as a stitch and used in the next row. You should have 29 going across. I'm going to go ahead and move on into row 1, which starts out by chaining 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we are going to treble crochet, which is yarn over twice into the indicated stitch and pull through 2 loops 3 times. Okay, we're going to chain 3, 2 and 3, and then we are going to cluster, do a 3 treble crochet cluster into that same stitch. So let me back up here. A 3 treble crochet cluster is yarning over twice, going into the stitch indicated, pulling up, pull through 2 loops, and pull through 2 loops. Leave the last 2 on. Yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up through 2, pull up through 2, leave the 3 on. Yarn over twice, go into the same, pull up through 2, pull up through 2. Now you have 4 loops. Pull through all 4. And that is going to be the 3 treble crochet cluster throughout the entire pattern. Each motif that uses that 3 treble crochet cluster, that's exactly what it's going to be each time. All right, since we have that established, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. We're going to now skip 6. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to single into the next. Chain 2 and skip 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this one, we are going to have a 3 treble crochet cluster. Two and 3. Go through all 4. And then chain 3. In that same stitch, we're going to do another 3 treble crochet cluster. Pull through all 4. Chain 3 again. And in that same spot, do another 3 treble crochet cluster. One more. All right, pull through those 4. Now this is what the 3 treble crochet cluster wave is going to look like. Let me bring it up closer to the camera. All right, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 6. Now here's where I want you to pull your work aside just a little bit so you can see the stitch that you were working in. Make sure that you're not missing anything that you have to count over here. So we pull it aside like that. this is the stitch that we're going to first skip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This next one, we're going to single. Chain 2 and skip 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now in this turning chain, you're going to cluster. And then through all 4, chain 3. And in that last same stitch, do 2 more trebles. Just regular old trebles. All right, this is what yours should basically look like after you have completed your base row and row 1. We're going to go ahead and move on to row 2, which has us start with a chain 2, and that also counts as a half double crochet. Turn your work, half double crochet into the first stitch. Now the instructions tell us that we need to do 3 half double crochets around this chain 3 here. So that means we're skipping this here. 1, 2, and 3 in the chain 3. We're going to do 1 half double crochet into the cluster, 1 half double crochet around the next chain 2, a half double crochet into the single, a half around the chain 2 again, and then now we're going to start on this guy here. Each one of the motifs has a few more in it than, say, this guy over here, but let's go ahead and get in there. Half double crochet in the cluster, do 3 half doubles around the chain 3, 2, and 3. And now because this is basically the top of our wave here, you're going to put 3 half double crochets into this cluster. So 1, 2, and 3. Do 3 around the next chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Do 1 half double into the next cluster. All right, I'm just going to stop real quick so you can see how that curves that really nice. All right, 1 half double around the chain 2, a half double into the single. Oh, these tails always get in my way. Half double around the chain 2, and a half into the next cluster. 3 around the next chain 3. And then 2 half doubles into the next treble. 1 and 2. And where it says in the instructions, skip the chain 5. This is the chain 5 that we started the row with, so skip it. All right, now I'm going to actually put my hook back into the 3 loops from this half double crochet because I'm going to change my color, because this, if you're wanting to do alternating colors for the motif itself, because this guy right here is now going to be in the valley of this row. So you're basically going to be working in the peaks and valleys. And I'm going to be changing mine to a gray. So that's how I change my colors. And I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. This is the right side of your work. If you need to mark your work or put an indicator on there, this is a good time to do it. This just happens to be the only one that I have in the room with me right now. Otherwise, I do usually recommend ones that don't dangle a lot, because otherwise they get in your way. This marks my right side. But going on to row 3, we are going to, I'm actually going to catch my loops behind my work as much as I can. So I'm going to single crochet into that first space. And I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to skip 6 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember I said we're going to be putting this motif into the valleys over here. So we're going to be doing this here. So get yourself ready to do a 3 treble crochet cluster. Pull through 2. Okay, and then pull through a 4, chain 3. All right, pull through all 4 and chain 3. And do 1 more in that spot. And through all 4. Now chain 2, skip 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Single crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Repeat your cluster pattern. Chain 3. Through all 4, chain 3, and 1 more in that same spot. And through all 4. Chain 2, skip 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the half double crochet that you made by actually chaining 2 and turning from the row before, that's what you're going to put your single crochet into. All right, and now we are on to, we're going to be moving on to row 4, but I want you to see what row 3 looks like. So we've got this being worked in our peaks and valleys now, and we're going to do the same half double crochet row, basically going this way on the opposite side. I just like the actual extra ridge that it creates to finish off. I think it makes your triple crochet clusters stand out even more. So let's go ahead and chain 2, turn your work, half double crochet into the chain 2 space, half double crochet into the next cluster, 3 half double crochets around the next chain 3, And because this is the top of our wave, put 3 half doubles into that one cluster. 2 and 3. 3 half doubles around the next chain 3. Half double into the next cluster. Half double around the next chain 2. And the next single. And the next chain 2. And the next cluster. So your valleys only get 1 going across. Your peaks get 3. All right, so we're back onto working on our peak. Put 3 around your chain 3. Put 3 into the top of your wave. Three around the chain 3. Okay, 1 in the bottom cluster, 1 around the chain 2, and 1 around the single crochet, or not around, but in the single crochet. Now, once again, if you are wanting to change your color, now I didn't clip mine off. You can clip yours if you want. It's going to give you lots and lots of ends. I'm just going to pull mine up and carry it. Okay, see how that does that? Now, because we are going to be starting over at row 1, we are gonna again chain 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna turn our work, and we're going to treble into that same first space like we did down here. Okay, now just because I'm not going to be carrying this for the tutorial's sake, and so that I'm not tripping over myself here, I'm cutting my yarn. But normally I would just make friends with it and figure out how to do it. All right, so we're back to row 1. We've put our 2 treble crochets basically into the first stitch. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to put a 3 treble crochet cluster. Through all 4 and chain 2. We are going to skip 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and single. Chain 2. Skip 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember, we're in a valley, so that means we're going to put a motif. So there's our first one, chain 3. Here's our second one. And go through all 4, chain 3. My yarn keeps splitting on me. And the last one. Okay, through all 4. Now we've got our motif in place. Chain 2, skip 6. See, as you get going on this, it gets a lot easier to see your stitches. The first one that's a real pill to deal with is this base, but after that it really gets kind of simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and single, chain 2, and in the chain 2 down here, we're going to use that as our half double crochet. We're going to put a 3 treble crochet cluster in here, into the chain 2 from that row, because that counts as a half double. Okay, through all 4, chain 3, and 2 trebles into that last space. So as you can see, this is a very, very simple 4-row repeat. And why I say it's a 4-row repeat is because row 1 and 2, 3 and 4, all you're going to do back and forth is going to be these 4 rows right here. You're just going to keep working those until you get to the length that you want to get it to. Let's go ahead and finish off this. So we'll chain 2, we'll half double in there. We'll put 3 around the chain 3. One in the cluster. Remember, we're in the valleys. So the valleys get 1 going across. Sorry for all the yarn chasing here. 1, 1, 1, and 1. And all of our tops of our waves get 3 going across. So 3, 3, and 3. Okay, now we're back in the valley. So we go 1 in the cluster, 1 around the 2, 1 in the single, 1 around the chain 2, 1 in the cluster. And we're at our edge, so we go 3 around the chain 3, and we finish off with 2 half doubles in that treble. Okay, I'm going to actually go ahead and cut this off because we are basically at the end of this tutorial. All right, so as you keep going back and forth, you may want to block this when you get done. If you're going to finish off and make a whole scarf, you might want to block it just so that it is nice and straight. I've seen people put borders on here. You can really do what you want. I really like the fact that each row stands out on its own. So I've never created a border for this pattern, but you know, obviously you're more than welcome to. But it just keeps repeating back and forth. I hope this helps you, and I hope you have a really great time making either your blanket or your scarf.